Good morning. Good morning, students. So today, our next topic is about the basic steps in problem solving. So as you can see here, introduction to problem solving. So dito, you will learn the ways and procedure and techniques on how to have a mindset on how to solve problems in programming. So let's start with the introduction. So problem solving is the act of defining a problem, analyzing the problem, selecting alternatives for a solution, and implementing a solution. So, yan yung pagkakasunod-sunod. You need to define the problem first, then you analyze, then select the alternative for the solution, and implementing the solution for that problem. So, in the context of programming, basic steps in problem solving are the problem definition, problem analysis, and algorithm design. So in this unit, you will be familiarized in these basic steps in preparation for program codes writing in C++. So by the end of this unit, you should be able to analyze a given problem by identifying input, process, and output, familiarize with keywords and symbols used in pseudocode and flowchart, formulate algorithm, and represent them using a pseudocode or flowchart. So what are the basic steps in problem solving? Problem solving for a programming consists of three steps: problem definition, problem analysis, and algorithm design. So number one, how to define and analyze the problem. So letter A, you need to state the problem, stating the problem. So what is the problem? All right. Why do you need an application? Why do you need to build an application? Para saan yon? So, state the problem, problem number one. Then, write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. Let's say the problem is how are you going to add uh, two numbers? Okay, so paano yung code na gagawin ninyo to do that? So, write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. So, what are the codes? Then, you also have problem number 2. Write a program that will compute the area of a circle. So, napansin niyo yung problem 1 and problem 2, those are the problems. So, the question is, paano nyo siya i-code? So, number 1, na-define nyo na kung ano yung problem. Letter B, definitive statement of the problem. Example, write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. So, anong pinagkaiba nung letter A and letter B? So, sa letter A, problem number 2, write a program that will compute the area of a circle. Then problem number 1, write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. So, mapapansin ninyo sa definitive is almost the same. Write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. So give the computer two numbers. It should be able to add the two numbers and give the result. So yun yung solution na kailangan gawin or solution for that problem. Problem 2. Write a program that will compute the area of a circle. So how will you restate problem number 2? Yun. Letter C. Analyzing the problem. So what is the nature? What is it about that problem? What is the scope or limitation of the problem? Example number 1 or problem number 1. Write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. What is the nature? Mathematical. What is the scope? Limit the scope to the numbers that are integers or whole numbers. So, dito, sabi niya, write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. So, ang kailangan niya ay dalawang number. So, it could be an integer or whole numbers. So, kung dalawang number lang ang i-add niya, so dalawang number lang. So, hindi pwedeng maging tatlo. Kasi yun lang yung scope niya. Dalawang number lang ang i-add ninyo. At ang gagamitin ninyong operator ay sum or sum. You cannot use multiplication kasi naka-state naman dyan. Write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. So, yun yung scope. Kung ano lang yung nandoon sa instruction, sa nature which is mathematical, yun lang ang gagawin ninyo which is the solution for the program. Example number 2, problem number 2. Write a program that will compute the area of a circle. So dito naka-indicate sa direction that or problem, write a program that will compute the area of a circle. So dapat circle hindi square. Kasi yun yung scope ninyo. Area, how do you compute the area? So you need to find the formula. What is the nature? Geometry. Scope, allow fraction and decimals as acceptable values. Okay. No negative values for the radius should be accepted. So, ibig sabihin, walang negative values. So, dapat positive. Alright. Yun yung magiging result. So, that is the scope. Identify output. Okay. We have B.1. B.1, identifying the output. Problem number 1. Write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. So, what would be the output? So, what would be the output of your program? So, ang output niya there should be a sum. There should also be, the sum of two numbers you gave is sum. So, dapat, gagawa kayo ng output, which is yung result nung sum ng dalawang numbers, pati rin yung code. Next, identifying the input. So, yung una, na-identify mo na yung output na dapat ang magiging output niya ay yung sum. And identifying the input. So, ano yung magiging input niya? Write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. So, yun yung problem. So, we need, ano yung input? We need two numbers as the input. Kasi sum. So, dalawang numbers. Yun yung kailangan natin na i-add natin as basis for your input. Then, those input will be keyed on the keyboard. Yan, sa keyboard, itatype ninyo yung input. Identifying the input. Problem number 2. Write a program that will compute the area of a circle. O, dito na tayo sa area of a circle. So, ano yung nire-required na input? O, based from you, ano yung input na kailangan natin? Is it kailangan rin ba natin ng two numbers? O isa lang? So, kailangan rin natin yung formula. So, how do you compute the area of a circle? So, yon. Defining the process. Problem number 1. Write a program to determine the sum of two numbers. So, what is the process? Ano yung gagawin ninyo? Ano yung pagdadaanan ninyong proseso for this solution? Or sa paggawa ng program na yon. So, the process is, you need to, una na gagawin niyo, enter two numbers using the keyboard. So, let's say either 1 or 2, 3, and 4. So, any random numbers, basta dalawa lang na number. The computer must able to reject fraction and decimal number. So, pag nag-type kayo ng mga decimal numbers such as 2.3 to 0.4, hindi tatanggapin ng program yon. Whole number only. The computer will then add the two numbers. So, i-add nyo yan. Example, 2 plus 2. The result of the addition will be displayed on the computer screen. So, after i-add ng computer, i-display niya yung output. Let's say, 2 plus 2, the result is 4. So, yun yung magiging output. So, yun yung process na pagdadaanan. So, naiintindihan ninyo. So, dapat ma-analyze ninyo yon kung ano yung kailangan or yung solution to come up with an output. So, una, in-identify nyo na muna yung problem. Then, after that, after you identify the problem, you write the problem, and then you identify what would be the output and the input. Then, you will also analyze the process na pagdadaanan. Alright? So, nandun na rin yung input sa process, ano yung magiging input niya, at tapos ano yung gagawin niya, and then yung magiging output. Problem number 2. Write a program that will compute the area of a circle. So, ano yung process? So, ang una niyang gagawin is, the program must be able to accept a number representing the radius. So, isang number lang, which represent the radius of the circle. Let's say 3. The computer should make it sure that no negative number will be entered. So, pag tinype ninyo negative 3, the program will not accept it. Or sasabihin niya, invalid number. The computer must compute the area of a circle. Alright. Then, result must be displayed on the screen. Alright. Then, number 2 is planning the solution. Algorithm. So what is an algorithm? It is a set of rules for solving a problem in a finite number of steps. So here are the overview of an algorithm. So ang algorithm class is like yung procedure siya. Yung step by step na gagawin ninyo. In coding, parang ingredients rin siya class kapag kayo ay nagko-code, ano yung unang gagawin? Halimbawa, magluluto kayo ng, let's say, steps in cooking scrambled egg. So, ang unang ninyong gagawin ay prepare all necessary items needed such as egg, pan, oil, etc. Then, kung meron na kayong egg, then you need to beat the egg. Then, lalagyan nyo ninyo ng salt, heat pan, put oil in the pan, then pour beaten egg if pan is already not enough. Cook egg for at least 2 minutes, then serve egg. So, mapapansin nyo, sunod-sunod siya. Hindi pwedeng mauna yung serve egg, cook egg, kaysa sa preparation. So, ganun din ang coding. Pag magko-code kayo, dapat ang una ninyong i-code yung unang gagawin, hindi yung last. So, that is an example of an algorithm. So, yung mga set of rules for solving problem in a finite number of steps. So, may sequence siya. So, yung rules na gagawin niyo. Control structures. Structure programming is a technique that emphasizes the breaking of a program or algorithm into logical sections or module following a universal programming standard. Breaking of programs into smaller modules. So, yun yung structure programming. It is the breaking of programs into smaller modules. Control structure is a step or a series of steps that determine what instruction or set of instruction will be done next. So, there are 3 basic structures. We have sequential, ibig sabihin, sequential pagkakasunod-sunod. Let's say, mag-umpisa siya sa 1, susunod 2, 3, and 4. Selection, pag selection, ibig sabihin, after 1, pwede niyang piliin ang susunod ay 3 or 5 or babalik sa 2. Selection nga yun eh. Then, you have iteration. Ibig sabihin ng iteration, paulit-ulit siya. So, halimbawa, mauna siya sa 1, 2, 3. Then, babalik ulit sa 1, 2, 3. Paulit-ulit lang siya. So, yun yung tawag sa iteration or what you call looping. Sequential. So, sequential is the most straightforward. The program will just follow the instruction one after the other in a sequential manner. So, makikita nyo dito, after ng process 1, susunod ay process 2. Then, susunod ay turn on the shower. So, i-check niya dito, get yourself wet. After you turn on the shower, get the bath soap. So, after ninyong buhusan ng sarili ninyo ng tubig, susunod ay magsasabon na kayo. Then, after that, rub it in your body. Then, susunod ay massage it on your hair. Alright? Siyempre, ito yung shampoo. Rinse your body, your hair and body. Then, dry yourself with towel. then put on new clothes. So, napansin niyo magkakasunod-sunod yung class. Yan yung process kapag ikaw ay maliligo. Alright? So, hindi pwedeng mauna yung magbibihis ka muna kaysa magsabon. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng sequential. Pagkakasunod-sunod na mga bagay-bagay or process. Selection. Let your program or algorithm make a decision. So, para may decision siya. May decision making siya. Anong gusto niya? Ito o ito? So, choose one from two sets of instruction depending on the condition. So, ito yung code. Gumagamit tayo ng if statement, then and else sa selection. So, if condition, kapag ang condition ay ganito, ganito ang gagawin niya. Pag hindi, ganito. So, we have if, then, and else. Yan yung gagamitin nating code sa selection. So, makikita ninyo sa diagram, if condition, okay, if condition is met, either pupunta siya sa process 1 or not sa process 2. So, if it is dark, then turn on the lights, else do not turn on the lights. Ayan. So, kapag if madilim, then you need to turn on the lights. Else, do not turn on the lights. Ito yung example niya. Ito yung condition. If it is dark, so ibig sabihin, pag madilim, true ang i-return niyang value. So, anong gagawin niya? It will turn on the lights. Is it dark? Hindi naman. So, ang i-return niya ay false. So, do not turn on the lights. So, yun yung selection. Iteration naman. We use when we want our algorithm or program to repeat a process as a specified number of times. So, the structure that repeats an instruction or a set of instruction until a condition is met is known as iteration or loop. So, kung makikita ninyo dito sa diagram, sabi niya dito, is the condition met? If yes, ano mangyayari sa program? Magi-stop na siya. Magi-end na. Pero, pag hindi pa rin nami-meet yung condition, ano mangyayari? Babalik ulit siya doon sa process. Uulit-ulit siya. Hanggat hindi nami-meet yung value o yung tinatawag nating condition, hanggat no siya, paulit-ulit lang yung program. Pero pag na-meet na, saka siya magi-stop. So, paulit-ulit lang siya or what you call loop. So, whether the scrambled egg is ready to be served or not, beat the egg, add salt. So, place the pan in the stove, put the stove, pour cooking oil. Ito yung whether the scrambled egg is ready to serve or not, beat the egg, add salt, place the pan in the stove, put on the stove, pour cooking oil, heat the oil, put egg, then ang susunod, cook. So dito, here is the example of the control structure. Then heat the egg. If the egg is done, anong gagawin niya? Then serve the egg. Else go to cook. So ito yung iteration. Hanggat hindi naluluto yung itlog, lulutuin niya pa rin. So kapag naluto na, saka lang yun lang yung time para mag-stop siya. So we have the iteration control for serving scrambled egg. So una niyang gagawin na process, cook. Then heat the egg. Is the egg done? Luto na ba? No. So babalik siya ulit dito, cook, heat the egg. Then pagdating dito sa condition, is the egg done? Pag yes, then serve the egg. So mapapansin nyo dito, pinagsama siyang sequence kasi ito pagkakasunod-sunod. Una, cook, heat the egg, and then meron ulit siyang, ito ang tawag niya dito, pag condition, ito yung condition, i-check niya kapag luto na. Pag hindi, no, babalik ulit siya. So, pinagsama itong sequential, then may condition, and then iteration. Napansin ninyo. So, isang program yan. Pwede nyo pagsamahin yung tatlo. Next is flowcharting. It is the one method of pictorially representing a procedural step-by-step solution to a problem before you actually start to write the computer instruction required to produce the desired result. So there are two types of flowchart. System or data flowchart, which defines the major phases of the processing as well as the various data media used. Then you also have programming flowcharts. Example of system flowchart. Ayan, ito example ng system flowchart. Ayan. We have this diagram of a system flowchart which states that ang una niyang gagawin, pay records. Then, after niyang i-pay yung record is the process payroll. Then, susunod ay paycheck. Mapapansin niyo gumagamit sila ng mga shape. Dito, lalo na dito, oh. Okay. So, dito ang ginamit niya ay circle, which state the start of the process. Then, ito, ang ginamit niya dito ay rectangle. Okay. Which means the process also. Then, dito, diamond, ginamit niya, which means condition. Then, dito ang ginamit niya, serve the egg, which is the output. So, later on, pag-aaralan natin yung iba't ibang ginagamit na shape sa flowchart. Ginagamit ang flowchart para malaman natin kung paano yung process. Para malaman natin yung detail ng process. So, what is programming flowchart? It is constructed by the programmer to represent the sequence of operation the computer is to perform to solve a specific problem. So, it graphically describes what is to take place in the program. So, yun yung programming flowchart. It is a graphical representation of your program. So, sa programming flowchart, ano yung makikita ninyo? Yung mga standard symbol. Like this one. Yung kanina din nakita nyo na, di ba? Yung circle. So, it means that is the start or end of a program. Ito yung parallelogram. It means you are going to insert an input or it is an output operation. Pag rectangle, computational steps or a processing function of a program. So, nandito yung mga formula o yung mga computational step. And then this one is an alternate process. Yung diamond, decision making and branching. Yung zero is connector. And this one is, this shape is preparation or initialization. And this shape is parang arrow, off-page connector. This one is a magnetic tape, and this one is like a cylinder, which means magnetic disc. This one means display, and itong mga arrows na to, yan yung tinatawag nating flow line. So, example on flow charting. Let's say we have a problem. Make a flowchart to determine the sum of two numbers. So, the definitive statement is, give the computer two numbers. So, it should be able to add the two numbers and give the result. So, yun yung pinaka-definite na statement. So, what is the sum? What is the output? It is sum. Ayan. So, yan. So, we have the problem, definite statement, then output. So, may idea na kayo kung paano nyo gagawin yung program. So, the sum of two numbers is sum. Yun yung output. So, we have the input. We need two numbers as the input. The program allows both positive and negative integers. So, yun yung scope. So, ibig sabihin, ang i-accept niya lang ay positive numbers. It can also allow negative numbers or integer. So, we will start the process. Tignan niyo iba yung shape niya. So, this shape means the start. So, you will always use this, the word start and the shape. So, start the process. Susunod, enter the first number called N1. So, napansin niyo ibang shape na yung ginamit niya. Yung shape na for input. Input N1. N1. Ibig sabihin, number 1. So, the two blocks can be combined as input N1 and N2. Pwede nyong i-assign yung tinatawag nating temporary storage or variable as N1 or N2. Okay, it's up to you. Pero dapat related. So, yung N1 and N2 will be input. So, napansin niyo same sila ng shape kasi input. Then, enter the second number called N2. Dito nyo enter yung N2. Susunod na sa flowchart is yung rectangle. N1 and N2 is added and the result is called the sum. So, dito naman, itong shape na to, ginamit natin siya for formula, yung computing process. So, ano yung formula? Sum is equal to N1 plus N2. So, dito natin lalagay yung computation dito sa shape na ito, rectangle. Then, susunod, same ulit na shape dito sa input. Napansin niyo same rin yung shape ng output. So, ano yung magiging output niya? Yung sum. Let's say, 2 plus 2 is 4. So, sum is given as the output. Then, anong susunod? May gagawin pa ba? Wala na kasi nakuha na yung sum. So, ang susunod sa flowchart is yung this shape. And then, what is the caption? End. So, ano yung last na process? End. So, end of the process. So, that is how you will create a flowchart. Example number 1. So, example number 2. So, draw a flowchart to find the sum of first 50 natural numbers. So, we will start here using this shape. And then, square means input, di ba? Input. So, ano yung magiging input niya? Sum is equal to 0, then n is equals to 0. Sorry. So, hindi pala this shape is not an input or output. This is a process, right? Or yung computational process kasi square siya. So, sum is equals to 0. So, ang sum niya dapat is equal to 0. Then, n should be 0. Then, sa process or computational process natin, we have n is equals to n plus 1. So, yan yung formula. So, napapansin niyo square lang yung ginagamit. Alright, so, n is equals to n plus 1. And then, to compute or to find the sum of first 50 natural numbers, ano yung susunod na computing process or computational process? Sum is equals to sum plus n. Then, the condition is n equal to 50? So, siya equal to 50, ang magiging return value niya ay no. Then, babalik ulit siya dito sa process na or computational process na n is equals to n plus 1. So, uulit lang siya, paulit-ulit lang siya dyan na babalik hanggat ang output niya ay hindi equal sa 50. Kapag ang n is equal to 50, so, ang re-return niyang value is yes, then sa kanya ipiprint yung sum. So, nakita ninyo iba na yung shape nung iba na yung shape niya. Yung tawag dito ay output, di ba? Ginamit niyang shape ay for output. And then, end. So, that is a programming flowchart. Alright? Alright. So, for the meantime, that ends our topic number 3 for programming. So, thank you for your listening. Thank you for listening. And God bless to all of you. Thank you.